There is a dreamy, creative, and spiritual new moon in Cancer on Monday, July 17th. It trines Neptune, suggesting new beginnings inspired by faith, imagination, and a desire to connect and improve the world. Let's take a closer look and break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive astrology. If you'd like to work with me, check out the link down below or book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, leave me a like or a comment. It encourages me to bring more videos your way, and it helps YouTube algorithm show my video to more people. So before we dive in, as I'm talking about the new moon in Cancer, I wanted to remind you or tell you, to those who don't know, that I'm also working with astrology in a proactive way to capture the most powerful, rich transits and bring them into life via candles and magical oils. So these are created in a unique moment of time, usually very small window, and they carry the properties of the planet that is highlighted. So for example, this is a moon in Cancer candle, and it has silver foil because silver is the metal of the moon. It's white because moon is white-ish, right? And it smells like moonflower nectar, which moonflower is one of the flowers connected to the moon. So because it is captured at a benevolent time, it can be very helpful to anyone who needs to improve sleep, improve sleep, aid fertility, or bring emotional stability, because that is a powerful moon in Cancer. And the moon was growing in light, which is what you want for manifestation as well. Highly recommend this for anyone who struggles with sleep or fertility, as well as people who have their natal moon compromised in a sign of Capricorn or Scorpio, meaning that relaxation can naturally be a bit of a more of a difficult topic for you. So let's talk about this new moon. It happens on Monday, July 17th at 2:31 p.m. Eastern at 24 degrees 55 minutes Cancer. So you will feel it extra strong if you have any planets between 22 and 28 degrees Cancer, Capricorn, Libra, or Aries, because then you will be affected by it more. New moon in Cancer. New moon is the moon conjoining the sun, the masculine, young energy joining together with a more feminine, subtle lunar energy to birth something new. Cancer is a fertile cardinal sign, so birthing is a very literal kind of theme of this new moon. Cancer likes to initiate things, but a lot of times it's deeply personal things. So you're following your emotions, you're following your desires here, but it's very much like operating from a place of comfort, operating from a place of like deep emotional needs. I think the question here is like, what do you feel like bringing into existence? Starting projects that bring comfort, starting relationships that feel safe and supportive, I think is likely here. The trine to Neptune, to me, is a sign that dreams you dream up right now can come true. It can be the time when you meet the person and start a connection that feels very spiritual, very soulmate-like, because Neptune has that kind of idealistic, fantastic energy. So very close personal relationships, your intuition is highlighted, so pay attention to what's brought up into your field of vision right now, and please share with me in the comments below what you think you're birthing right now. It could be a lovely time around the new moon, a couple of days before, a couple of days after, to consult an astrologer, to schedule a tarot reading, or kind of journal about your dreams would be lovely. Neptune is very imaginative. Neptune makes you pursue things that are deep to your heart and that connect you to other people. So a wonderful period to start creative projects, to express yourself through writing, through speaking on YouTube, through acting, performance, anything like that. And a really great time to start projects that will nurture and support others, or support yourself, right? let's not forget of the beautiful self, of your beautiful self. The new moon also opposes Pluto, but it's the next aspect it's making. First is the trine to Neptune, but the opposition to Pluto to me is a sign of needing to transform something, needing to release. We just had a full moon in Capricorn, so releasing some of the outdated beliefs, releasing some of the need to work extra hard, or kind of embracing softness, because the new moon in Cancer feels very soft to me, especially with this trine to Neptune. Not the best day to work super hard, better day to, I know it's a Monday, so it's kind of hard for those of us who work regular Monday through Friday work weeks, but it could be an opportunity to dream, to journal, set your intentions, draw your intentions, scream them into the world, but don't scare other people. But a really great time to visualize, I think, to meditate on the things that you would like to happen in your life. Now let's take a look at the new moon through all 12 signs. I recommend listening for your rising sign because that tends to be more accurate, but you can also listen for your sun or your moon. If you are an Aries rising, there's a new moon in your 4th house and a trine to Neptune in the 12th. New moon in Cancer in the 4th feels like birthing something new in the home. It could be literally expanding your family, becoming a parent is quite likely here, but it can also be the time of changing your relationship with family. Maybe you embrace your friends as your family, or move in with a friend and you kind of start living together. Moving, changing your place of living is highly likely here, as well as finding a new sense of comfort, because 4th house is also a place of security, right? So you may be doing things, you may be kind of surrounding yourself with softer things, with more comfortable colors, renovating your house, redesigning your room, anything like that, anything that can make you feel like you belong more is likely. But it could also definitely be an opportunity to change your living situation, especially because the moon trines Neptune in the 12th, which sometimes Neptune in the 12th could mean finding home in a foreign land, because 12th house represents faraway places. So connecting, maybe moving, maybe kind of, it doesn't have to be that far, but any place, new neighborhood where you don't know anyone that can feel like a foreign place could also be a possibility. Can also be a sign that you're finding comfort in a spiritual practice, that you're maybe reconnecting with yourself. Maybe you're reconnecting with things that were once lost, or maybe you're actually releasing something that doesn't serve you, that in turn brings more comfort. Let me know how this resonates in the comments below. If you are a Taurus rising, there's a new moon in your 3rd house trining Neptune in the 11th. New moon in the 3rd house could bring new connections. Maybe you're kind of exploring a new neighborhood and you're meeting new people. You're starting a different role within the community, within the collective. Maybe you're beginning to teach yoga in your local yoga studio, or you're just going to a local bar and like forming these familial, intimate connections. The trine to Neptune in the 11th feels to me like either you are finding your community, or you're reaching out to people for support, or you're taking some kind of action to bring the knowledge of the 3rd house, to bring your skills, to bring your gifts and talents and share them with other people. Maybe you're starting to teach, maybe you're starting to inspire other people, maybe you're just finding people who are like-minded. The new moon in the 3rd house can definitely be an opportunity to start a business, to start a blog, to start a writing project, to even start studying something. And so then the trine to Neptune is a sense of new friendships, new community, new dreams potentially as well. If you are a Gemini rising, there's a new moon in your 2nd house trining Neptune in the 10th. This is very financially career oriented. New moon in the 2nd house could mean starting a new job, could mean getting a raise, a promotion. The trine to Neptune in the 10th feels like you are dreaming up a new career for yourself, and the new moon in the 2nd says rethink your values, rethink your finances, maybe start a savings plan to get to your career, right? Like save some money so you can start a business, or invest into your career if you're capable. Maybe you should invest into a business, right? This could also be a chance to make a big purchase, potentially connected to your professional aspirations, and maybe just an overall sense of needing to do things that are more spiritually aligned with who you are. If you are a Cancer rising, it's a new moon in your first house, really important because you only get one of those every year, and it's trining Neptune in the ninth. And you are rethinking yourself, your body, your even potentially place of living, because it's trining Neptune in the ninth house, and that could mean that you are changing who you are because you're moving. The new moon in the first house is always an opportunity to take a close look at yourself, take a close look at your routines, at your health routines, at your exercise routines, even your habits around sleep, right? Did you struggle sleeping in early July when we had the full moon in Capricorn? I think it was a mess for a lot of people. So getting a chance to rethink your beliefs around those self-care topics, maybe introducing new self-care routines, maybe stepping up into a different role, becoming more of a leader, right? Especially if that involves like writing or teaching or travel, because there is that aspect to Neptune in the ninth house. And try to introduce changes into your life that will make you feel warm and loved and secure. Starts now, don't wait up. If you are a Leo rising, there's a new moon in your 12th house trining Neptune in the 8th. And this to me reads like you're potentially letting something go. You may be letting go of a tendency to sacrifice. You may be letting go of a dependency. You may be letting go of self-defeating beliefs or some kind of self-critical attitudes. Because Neptune in the 8th is a sign of transforming. It's a sign of seeking potentially financial abundance or seeking better interactions with other people. So sometimes you need to take a close look at yourself and examine some of the negative habits you have in order to build better relationships. Or sometimes, with the new moon in the 12th house trining Neptune in the 8th, perhaps the answer to the financial problems is getting in touch with your creativity, because 12th house could also represent it's a blind spot, but a lot of times in the blind spot we can also have gifts and talents that we're not addressing and we're not giving them attention. But in general, it's a very quiet time where you are either being introspective, you're definitely being introspective, but you're being introspective about either your bad habits, or you're being introspective about your imagination, potentially relationships, right? Like what do you need to nurture, what needs to be released in order to have a better balance, in order to have better finances. I somehow keep picking up the energy of like releasing something in order to build better relationships, and it could be internal or it could be external. If you are a part of a dynamic, like you are writing with somebody and you feel like they're not doing their fair share and they're holding you back somehow, so maybe it's time to let them go. But for the rest of you, it could also be the time of starting an imagination-driven project, starting therapy, starting to meditate, or maybe even going on a trip and escaping the craziness of the world. If you are a Virgo rising, there's a new moon in your 11th house trining Neptune in the 7th. And I think for some Virgo risings, and that's not the first guess, but for some Virgo risings, this could be connected to marriage, because we have Neptune in the 7th house trining the new moon, and maybe you are in a relationship and in the next 6 months you can get engaged, or basically the new moon in the 11th is all about dreams, right? And the connection to the 7th house connects it to relationships. So dreams of a perfect partnership, dreams of a perfect business relationship, dreams of a perfect marriage can be on display right now, and they can be extra important. So dreams coming true in relationships, working on a relationship, starting a new group project, starting a social media page, getting engaged. There are definitely some possibilities here. Examining your network, potentially to work with somebody maybe. So maybe you're starting a blog or you're starting a podcast with a friend. And a friendship turning into a relationship, I can also see as a possibility. But definitely we're looking at the house of friendships, dreams, and networks, and the house of relationships and partnerships, and smooshing those two together, right? And like I said, this could be, maybe your partner connects you with somebody you need connecting with, but like very positive flow between the house of dreams and relationships, the house of friendships and relationships. So let me know how this resonates in the comments below. If you are a Libra rising, there's a new moon in your 10th house of career, status, reputation, trining Neptune in the 6th house of health, work, and everyday service. Everyday work and service, basically. So the new moon in the 10th house is always a sign of professional new beginnings, a new project, a new title, a new adventure that you're going on. I am working on a planner, right? As I mentioned every time I talk about Libra rising, so you already know. But I'm working on a planner, so it's a big project. It's requiring a lot of attention. So the new moon in the 10th could definitely, and it trine to Neptune in the 6th. It's like you're taking on work that is either serving other people or it's imaginative, creative. But regardless of that, it's hard. It's long-term, it requires energy and investment. So professional new beginnings that have that dreamy, creative, altruistic feel to them, but need patience. Some of you may receive recognition, some of you may announce your plans perhaps of something or make an announcement about your professional change. And 10th house once in a while also represents romantic changes. So new moon in the 10th house as a place of status, if you're going from being single to being married or being engaged, that could also be a change here. Let me know how this resonates down there. If you are a Scorpio rising, there's a new moon in the 9th house and a trine to Neptune in the 5th. And you have a positive flow between the house of travel, education, legal matters, beliefs and ideals, and the house of romance, creativity, and children. And this can be a lot of different things, right? On one level, maybe your view of relationships is changing. Maybe you are kind of rethinking what you believe in connected to children. Maybe there is some kind of legal process that you're involved with that is connected to a creative project or created to your child. And this new moon suggests a positive development. With a new moon in the 9th house, you are driven to expand your life. You're driven to grow and to pursue projects that are connected to education. Maybe you're driven to study. Maybe you're driven to go on adventures. Maybe you're driven to learn a new language, right? And with the trine to Neptune in the 5th house, it's a sign that this expansion is done in order to bring more joy, in order to bring like better creative flow. Maybe you're exploring new hobbies, right? And you're trying to find something that gets you excited. Maybe you're becoming a parent, right? Maybe you're expanding your life to fit in some children potentially. Could also be great for publishing and travel. I feel like I already said that. But yeah, like 9th house deals with writing. So writing and creative self-expression is very strongly emphasized here. Let me know how this resonates in the comments below. If you are a Sagittarius rising, there's a new moon in your 8th house, trining Neptune in the 4th. And there's a lovely energy flow, new beginnings in the house of other people's resources, money you get from the government, any debt-related matters, financial matters, but like there's some kind of new agreement happening. And the trine to Neptune suggests that that might be an agreement with a family member, or it might be an agreement connected to your home living situation, or even your family, your children potentially. Maybe you are getting a teacher for your child. Maybe you're like signing a contract with a math tutor, right? And kind of helping your child. Maybe you're getting a mortgage, or maybe you're paying off a mortgage, perhaps because, you know, the Neptune is trining it from the 4th house. There could even be a more spiritual meaning to this new moon, where you are going through a sense of transformation in your family and you're embracing better relationships. Maybe you're closing an old chapter of holding on to wounds and instead trying to connect better and choosing to work on relationships, right? This could be a great time to start therapy, to come up with a plan to pay off a debt, to come up with a plan to use the money that you may receive at this time, and even have honest conversations about your give and take dynamics. If you are a Capricorn rising, there is a new moon in your 7th house trining Neptune in the 3rd. New moon in the 7th is a sign of new romantic or business beginnings, because 7th house represents partnerships, one-on-one, which could be marriage or it could be a business relationship, right? So there can be new contracts, there could be new dates you're going on, or new opportunities to join forces with somebody else. The trine to Neptune suggests that you're starting partnerships that encourage 3rd house matters. So either they are with siblings, or they are business oriented, or they allow you to travel more, allow you to write more, and sort of express your gifts, right? 3rd houses are skills and hobbies. And so these partnerships, they can let you shine and let you express the best version of yourself. There might be a sense of reaching out to people, maybe negotiating, maybe needing to kind of talk things out, right? And meditate on your relationships. And like, because if it's a contract, right, if it's some kind of contractual agreements, you do have to think about it very deeply. But I'm excited about it. It's a happy new moon in the house of relationships, connected to Neptune. So birthing something in a relationship, starting a new chapter in a relationship is quite likely. And let me know how this resonates and what kind of new chapter you are expecting. If you are an Aqua rising, there's a new moon in your 6th house trine Neptune in the 2nd house, and we're connecting the house of everyday work to the house of money and values. So the work that you're doing, the projects that you're starting, new moon in the 6th could be a beginning of a really hard labor of love, right? I think it's the labor of love because there is a positive aspect to Neptune in the 2nd house. So you are starting to exercise, you're starting a writing project, you're going back to school to study nutrition, and it's hard, and it requires some financial investments, it requires energy, it may require you to be patient for a little bit, but it's beneficial. It will either be financially rewarding in the long term, or it's going to be emotionally fulfilling, right? If it's some kind of long project to help somebody else, you will rejoice at the end because you have improved somebody's life. Or if it's a going back to school type scenario, you can eventually monetize your knowledge and monetize your experience and education in order to start making more money. This could be a lovely opportunity to examine how you take care of yourself, to examine your diet, your exercise routine, and make any adjustments you need to make to have a better flow in your life. Let me know how this resonates in the comments below. If you are a Pisces rising, there's a new moon in the 5th house trining Neptune in the 1st house. And this feels like birthing. I know I've been talking about birthing things a lot in this video, but that's how new moon in Cancer feels to me. And here, as a Pisces rising, you get a new moon in the 5th house. It's the place of romance, creativity, joy, and children. Trining Neptune in the 1st, so 1st house is your body. So very literally could be a chance to become a parent, right? It can also be an opportunity to follow a dream, to be more creative, and maybe express yourself differently. There may be romantic new beginnings with a new moon in the 5th house, quite likely, whether that means your relationship is moving onto a different level, or that means that you're meeting someone. Creative partnerships I can also see, and just an overall sense of trying to look on the bright side and trying to figure out things that you need in life that can make you happier. Maybe it means spending every Sunday with the person you love, or maybe it means starting to take swimming lessons and spending time with your sister who's also learning to swim. Like, there's a lot of different possibilities, but regardless of what it is, the new moon in the 5th house wants you to ask, what is joyful? What is pleasant? What is life affirming? And follow that. So enjoy this beautiful new moon in Cancer. Let me know, what is it that you're birthing and bringing into existence in your life. Take some time to be quiet during new moon. Take some time to meditate and enjoy this beautiful energy. I'll talk to you very soon. Bye.